we need to start the interview with, and there's a big elephant in the room, obviously, right now. Everybody's been talking a little controversy lately, a little bit of, and if I don't bring it up, I think you've probably been bombarded with this lately. And
yes, absolutely.
I think
we are hopeful about the Leafs.
Yes.
But I just don't want to talk about it and jinx it.
Oh, he's stealing my thunder. I was going to make a joke about June Rollins. And the controversy of the name Barenaked Ladies so long ago in 1991, and just make that the controversy. But you popped it.
I'm sorry.
That's okay.
There's enough room for two fantastic jokes.
Is there?
Yes.
Is there really?
Especially in a Barenaked Ladies special.
Very good. Let's jump back there for a little bit, back to that time when the controversy kind of elevated you to the status of international mega celebrities at that point.
Actually, it elevated us to the status of national mega celebrities.
National, okay.
There was no international involved.
Is that right at that time?
I might take the mega off that as well.
International, just celebrities?
Just more like Canadian household names. That's the best thing about it, is we went from an up-and-coming club band to a national household name overnight because it was a slow news day, I think, in Toronto.
We weren't complaining. It was a nice surprise.
Yeah, you know, and now anytime something like that happens, anytime a Bill O'Reilly causes Whoopi and whoever else to walk off the set of The View, anytime anything slightly and quote-unquote controversial happens in the media, people look back and they ask if that was intentional or not. Now, obviously, when you guys were coming up with the name, you just thought it sounded kind of funny. And I know it may seem silly to address that again, but I think all of these years later, it might be worth taking a look back at where it began. But there was never any intention of angering anybody with that, was there?
Well, no, and it was funny because that became a real focal point of the debate in political correctness, a debate that we were very much on the left of, you know?
Yeah.
We're very politically informed guys and socially conscious people, and the name was never meant to be derogatory or harmful. It was just something silly, you know, and first and foremost, we never thought we were going to be a band. You know, we made up the name of the band and the whole story of the band without ever intending to be a band. I just had a gig booked with a food bank, and they called and said, "We're really counting on you, right?" And I went, yeah, but I didn't have a band at the time. And I just thought to one of the silly names that Steve and I had made up, and I said, the name of my band is Barenaked Ladies now. And then I called Steve and said, "Do you want to be in Barenaked Ladies?" And that was it.
So do you think maybe we should do it on a Canadian level? Is Canada less prude than it was back then?
It wasn't even Canada.
It wasn't, it was just Toronto?
Well, no, as the reaction showed, it was really just a mayor who, by all accounts now, looking back on the Rollins administration, was pretty out of touch in general.
She was kicked out of politics in '94, by the way.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And she wasn't even there. Apparently, one of her counselors just thought, oh, we can't have a name like that, not knowing we were a popular Toronto club band singing about craft dinner, having $1 million, and, you know, being your Yoko Ono. You know, it was very much a case of not knowing what they were talking about. So it went to the media. And it was actually, here's a little inside story on that, actually broken by Jim Slotek in the Toronto Sun the day after New Year's. And we just went, well, whatever.
We went and played in Hamilton.
We went and played in Hamilton. It was no big deal. And the story went away for 4 days. And then Peter Howell at the Star picked it up. And I remember I was doing my laundry and at a laundromat.
You do remember this.
Well, because that's where we were at. I was at a laundromat in St. Clair. Get this call from my roommate. Yeah, your manager wants you to go down to City Hall for a picture.
To be clear, he was doing everybody else's laundry too.
Yeah,
that was his job.
I was hazed into the band.
But we were popular when Peter Howell did it because he's so tall. It was just more noticeable, you know.
Could be.
When he took the story, I don't know why.
Well, I was up doing my laundry, got the call, went down to City Hall. We took a picture, met the guys there. We took a picture on the Henry Moore sculpture. It was like, well, we just want to do a story on you guys being banned from playing here. And we thought, oh, this is going to be a little public interest thing. Next day, cover of the Toronto Star, essentially a national newspaper. And I woke up to Jim and his brother on the radio being interviewed by Peter Zosky. And it was like, okay, I guess it's a big story. Man, I never got to do my laundry. I got to fold my wet laundry. But it was ridiculous. But we went from a popular Toronto club band to a household name overnight.
And we went from selling 400 cassettes a week, mostly off the stage after shows, to 14,000 cassettes a week.
You were making more money per unit on the cassettes, though, right?
We were indeed.
Yeah.
We were indeed.
Was there another moment like that of elevating your band to another level? Was it Gordon? Was the next one when it exploded again exponentially like that?
I think we just kept touring, especially in the U.S., for the next 6 years. So
But there wasn't one kind of thing that happened or one single.
There wasn't
I think it was
controversy.
accumulation of like building the fan base, and a lot of the Canadian fans spilling into like Detroit and Buffalo helped that a lot. I think our live record kind of gained some motion, but it wasn't until 1 week, I think. It was the song, actually.
That was it, right? It
really
wasn't a
hit
controversy. It was a song.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think an event that sticks out of my mind is when we played Boston City Hall Plaza in 1998, the day I think that Stunt came out. We were supposed to play an in-store at Newbury Comics in Boston, and that sort of moved to a stage set up outside. Then it was like,
Well, they announced that we were going to do an in-store there, and they got 3,000 calls the first week. And so they said, we got to move this outside. And when they looked for an outdoor venue, a park or something nearby, someone in the mayor's office was a huge fan of the band and said, why don't we do it in City Hall Plaza?
mayors, they either love us or hate us.
They have been instrumental in your
Yeah.
career,
They're a
though.
real mayor's band, very good ladies.
Who are you voting for, by the way? Just kidding. Keep going with the story.
Sorry, I want to say. Yeah, so we moved it to City Hall Plaza, and 80,000 people showed up. We were pulling in from an interview in New York. We were at MTV in New York because it's the day the album came out. Drove down to Boston. I remember I was asleep on the bus and I woke up and I was like, whoa, a lot of traffic. There must be a Red Sox game or something. You
And
know?
then we're looking in the traffic, and like everybody has a Barenaked Ladies shirt or bumper sticker or hat on. And I remember saying, guys, I think we're causing this traffic.
And we got there and got off the bus, and 80,000 people, all for a free concert. And
They closed down like a 4-block radius. They kept the subway open an extra hour and a half.
yeah,
And it was such a positive event overall. We stayed for 3.5 hours and signed autographs for whoever wanted to wait around in the lineup. We stayed until the last person was gone. And I think just all the people involved, the cops in
And the
Boston,
cops are really digging
they
it.
loved us from that point on. Just Boston loved us.